Hello folks, welcome back to Tater Animation's live action edition, because all of my current animation ability is going to that giant hell of a boss video I need to make doing the entire second half of season 2 in one video. Yay! So in the meantime, I decided to do a little light project that ended up being way more difficult than I thought it was going to be, because today I'm ranking every single Undertale AU. Okay, well not today. This is going to be split up into separate parts. I'm doing all the big ones today. Aftertale, Endertale. And I forgot to print out a little picture for Undertale, so we're already not doing great. So, join me as I make a bunch of bad decisions and anger the entire fandom, as I probably already have given the fact that I end every single video of mine with Ralph is Flowey. A theory for Deltarune that is so dumb, I wouldn't be surprised if a brick flew through this window and hit me in the head. Behind me is the big, beautiful board. It's more of like cardstock, but let's call it a board, okay? But where we will be putting all of these. Let's get into this, because I have a feeling I'm gonna have a bad time. I don't really have an order I'm gonna put these in, and the board doesn't even like have tiers, because I guarantee I'm gonna be reorganizing these consistently. So let's just jump right in to the first random one I pick out. Okay, hand plates. Hand plates is fantastic. See, this is actually a very nostalgic one for me because I get into fandoms super quickly. So while I was fighting Sans for the first time, I was just binging every single Comic Sans TV dub that was available. That channel's gonna come up a lot, by the way. Basically, every single nostalgic memory I have from the series is from Comic Sans TV. The point is, if you don't know what hand plates is, it's basically an AU where we see Papyrus trying to figure out his past, which is interesting because it's normally Sans, as we'll see very clearly with the rest of these. It's almost always Sans because he's the fan favorite. So to see Papyrus getting the spotlight, along with Sans of course, because it is still an Undertale AU, is very interesting. And the actual story and the lore they have for Papyrus and Sans is unique and interesting. Basically, spoiler alert, Gaster's the one who created both Sans and Papyrus in test tubes, sort of, and then kind of tried to raise them to be his children, but more like experiments. It's a very weird father-son relationship, but it works super great and has tons of emotional moments, so this is going near the top for sure. Next up, Ink Sans. Oh, this is gonna be fun. So, for those of you who know nothing about the Undertale AUs and are just trying to get into them, maybe watching this video to get a general idea, Ink Sans is very important. So basically, there's this whole thing where, you know the MCU, right? Now that's kind of complicated. Great. Now, imagine if that was more complicated. Imagine if there were more multiverses. And this was like back in like 2015. Well before the MCU was going this crazy with the multiverse thing. And at the center of it is Ink Sans. Basically, long story short, it's the good Sans that wants to protect the multiverse. Simple as that. Got a magic paintbrush, can make anything come to life. Not an extremely creative idea, but the design definitely makes up for it. Don't know why I'm pointing to the picture, you guys clearly can't see that. I'm gonna have visuals behind me. Ooh, can I make visuals appear in the window like behind my... I think I might have just doomed my editing self to having to deal with so many annoying things.
Yes, you did. Screw you.
Okay, the point is, Ink Sans has a great design and some great characterization. A lot of fan games around Ink Sans are flawless because it's Ink Sans. He's pretty important to the story, so generally he gets the most love and attention out of any of them. So he's gonna go pretty high. I do really like the simpler story that Hand Plates offers though. I'm gonna put him adjacent to Hand Plates. I know that might be controversial. Actually, I'm sorry Ink Sans fans. I love Ink Sans. He's gonna go straight below Hand Plates for me. Sorry if that upsets anyone.
That's what I was worried about being controversial? Oh my goodness. If you were offended by that last one, brace yourselves. It gets so much worse.
Alright, next. Why did I get the piece of tape already? I'm gonna talk for a while. That's fine. Next up, Oh yes, one of the earliest Undertale AUs, Underfell. Underfell started just as this drawing tutorial on Tumblr because, of course, it was on Tumblr. Most of these are on Tumblr. They might as well just rename all of the AUs to Undertale, Tumblr Edition. But this is by far the most Tumblr out of all of them. With that being said, it is still very good. It's basically what if Undertale was edgy, which admittedly is pretty much any Tumblr AU for any franchise. But this being one of the earlier ones actually offered a pretty creative and interesting look into it. All the characters still retain their general goals and ideologies and personalities, but way meaner. This is most prevalent in characters like Papyrus, because he acts completely different, almost the antithesis of himself, but still has the same motivations. He still has the same emotions, he's just way meaner. But he still feels like just if Papyrus was mean. It's a very delicate balance that typically is managed pretty well. Just because of its sheer versatility, I might be putting this above Handplates. Because Handplates is a great story, but it is very self-contained. And this is not very self-contained, but it's not a very interesting story. Yeah, Underfell's going above Handplates. I love you, Handplates. Underfell's very good. Oh, it's Glitchtale. Oh, here we go. Oh, I'm gonna ruin some poor 12-year-old's day with this one. Which I know is rich coming from me. I'm gonna ruin a kid's day, because I am the most mature man on the planet. Look at me. I am very an adult. I'm 67. I swear, if I get banned for lying about my age because of that joke, Glitchtale was a very ambitious project, and I don't think it paid off very well. Glitchtale is not very good. I'm sorry. I can see what they were attempting, but a lot of the time it misses the point of Undertale completely. It's kind of nonsense, and there's more plot holes than there are story beats. Like, I think, if you want a good video about it, actually, The Boring Oranges, or something, I think.
Okay, last time I interject, but I'm definitely not promising that. It's actually, The Bored Oranges. He's just an idiot. An absolute moron.
Is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the username. Made a great video that I should link in the description if I remember. Chances are I won't, so go check it out. It's actually very good if you're interested in this topic. And they had a list of notes. These are it's color-coded. Red is the plot holes. This has got a lot of plot holes. It is going very low on the list. Right near the bottom. Oh yes, it's Aftertale. I love Aftertale. I just actually watched it for the first time, like the official comic for the first time, in preparation for this video, and I was blown away. It definitely doesn't have the same nostalgic factor because I just watched it, but I'm trying to separate myself from that because this is fantastic. Just, of course, Afterfell. No. We're not going into those today. No Swapfell, okay? We're doing Underfell and Underswap. That's enough. We don't need to go into the random versions where it's like, oh, it's like Underswap and Underfell, and also Glitchtale for some reason. And by the way, Ink Sans is there! I'm getting off track. Afterfell is pure gold, and I might make an entire video about it someday, because Afterfell completely understands every single character. A lot of the other stories have this issue where, like, for instance,
Dusttale,
one of its most popular counterparts, Sans doesn't feel like Sans. That's a new character that is using the Sans the Skeleton Mii skin from Smash Bros. Afterfell Sans genuinely feels just like more of a desperate version of Sans, and it really goes into his character, because his main flaw in this story is not sharing everything with his brother, and everybody else of course, but mainly Papyrus. That's the main thing that's holding him back from achieving his goal of making the timelines perfect. And eventually, he gets so tired of trying to fix the timelines that he decides to just end all of the timelines completely. He doesn't do it because he is malicious. He does it because he's genuinely so tired that he's giving up. It completely understands every single flaw Sans has in a way that not a lot of other AUs do. They typically just have him as a cool guy who beats up all the mean people, when in reality, he has the power to do so much, but doesn't because he's just exhausted. I'll go more into Aftertale later. But, in the scene with Chara and Frisk, at the end, I pronounce it Chara, I'm sorry. But their scene together was fantastic. Seeing Chara actually hate Asgore for killing those humans was such an interesting plot point. I think this is the best representation of the early AUs that exists, and I'm putting it as my second favorite. Only because I know what my favorite is, and it's not necessarily better than Aftertale, it's just a personal favorite of mine. Oh, my iPhone hasn't run out of storage yet. That's what I record these on, by the way. I'm not rich, I'm very poor. It's Error Sans. Now, you might think that I'm gonna recap the story or the lore of Error Sans, but I won't, because it's not only nonsense, it keeps stinking changing. Every single iteration I've seen of Glitch Sans has been completely different from every other iteration. The only thing that basically stays the same is that he's the antithesis of Ink Sans. So, since their stories are almost always intertwined, they're an inseparable duo. They're going together. I think that's fine. Oh, the classics. Underswap. Specifically, TS Underswap. I think that's probably the most... The camera fell. Okay. Come on, buddy. Let's hope it's not super blurry. The camera fell. TS Underswap. Just general Underswap. Very simple concept. Characters switch places with their counterpart. Well, kind of. They switch personalities and roles, which is odd because there's one specifically for switching roles. It's not incredibly consistent. Most of the switches are pretty good, like Sans and Papyrus, obviously. They're the most iconic one because Sans is always the most iconic part of anything Undertale related. But some of the other swaps, while cool, like Chara and Frisk, don't necessarily follow sound logic because shouldn't Asriel and Chara swap? It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it doesn't work because then Chara has to go Asriel's soul against her family, which we've already can't happen. So I'd say on a first viewing, like on a base level, Underswap is better, but there's more to these characters that you can explore even if it's complicated and annoying. Alright, next one. Oh, the Seventh Soul. Oh, the Seventh Soul. This one might seem like a weird addition, but I'm specifically doing it because this was one of the... No, I saw Underplayer first. But I didn't understand anything that was going on in Underplayer the first time I watched it. Underplayer's in here somewhere. We'll get back to that. This is the first AU that I understood. And in hindsight, it's kind of an odd one. It's a pretty simple concept. Frisk stays in the ruins for years. There's no player, there's just Frisk, which I've actually enjoyed. I think Frisk is a pretty great character that doesn't get explored a lot because they're not really in the game, but the only thing that's a little weird is the excessive Franz shipping bait. It's definitely there, and it's a little bit weird because Franz is weird, no matter how you put it. I will give them credit though, because of how long Frisk was in the ruins, Frisk has been aged up. That's something. I do appreciate that they did that. They also choose a specific gender for Frisk, which, not very cool. You guys, you shouldn't really be doing that, but it's somewhat understandable. A lot of AUs do that, and this was probably created back in the day when they still had the debate between, oh, Frisk is a reflection of the player character, which is just stupid. They should have a scene in Deltarune where you share your pronouns with Chris and they just arbitrarily decide, nah, they're different. By the way, my pronouns are he, him. Nah, I think you're a girl actually. Because I decided so, and you're my soul, so you're a reflection of me. That's not even remotely how that works. I should mention the positives. It's very well written. The character dramas are fantastic. So I think, oh whoops, I tore it. Who knew? I think the Seventh Soul really identifies everything that is good and bad about Undertale AUs. I'd say this is a good middle ground, so I'm going to be putting this below Ink and Error Sands, but above Underswap. I think that's fair. Alright, next up. Oh yes, Over the Void! Okay, I'm excited for this one. Over the Void is less of an AU and more of a comic dub that's a continuation, but it is still technically an AU because Asriel's alive, and they go to an AU within the AU. It's not as complicated as it sounds. Let me tell you about this thing. So, Over the Void follows Asriel and Frisk, but mostly Asriel, which is already a huge plus in my book. He's my favorite character. Why didn't I bring his plush out here for the little display? I'll be right back. Hello. My head was cropped out. Like, it's always been kind of cropped out here. Because for some reason, I can never get a good camera angle. Because I'm like, what, 10 trillion feet tall, apparently. Oh, I'm doing the rest of the video. Oh my I'm doing the rest of the video down here. Well, I'm redoing the rest of the video down here. Because I completed the whole thing and now I gotta do it again. Please, please, like and subscribe. The channel's struggling a bit now because back in the day, we had a huge burst of new subscribers and new people watching when Murder Drones ended, but that was a year ago. And it only calculates your watch time based on the last 365 days, which means basically YouTube has just wiped the entire period of my channel where I got a bunch of watch time. Please, please help me out. I'm dying here. Right, we were on this guy. He's basically just a worse version of these two. That's it. Basically, that's all he is. Going down here. Sorry, not sorry. I know he's important to some stories. I am kind of taking out my anger on him a little bit. I don't like this guy. He's just Sans, but different and stronger. Wow, how creative. No one's done that before. Okay, next one. Six Bones. Six Bones is good, but it is simple. Putting it in line with the guy I just insulted is kind of mean. I do like these two, though. Okay. Yeah, Six Bones. Simple enough. Oh, Underplayer. Underplayer is very good. Underplayer, like I said, first one I saw, and it was very confusing. Looking back now, it's still super confusing. The character work is great. I love the designs, but it is a very confusing story. So, put it there. Just imagine it's in between the two. Here, I'll draw a little arrow. Mafia Tale. I wasn't a huge fan of Mafia Tale at first, but it is starting to grow on me because, as simple as it is, it's good at what it wants to be. Oh, come on! I promise that was the last technical problem, okay? I've edited the rest of the video. It's fine after this. I just need to get this done, okay? This video has been me having terrible posture, my shirt in the wrong spot, constantly dropping the camera, having the worst time ever. However, this board will be finished. The two we have to rank in this little portion that got corrupted in that video file are Dusttale and Lusttale. You'll notice that they're right at the bottom. Do I have to explain myself? Lusttale was a decent idea that could have been explored in an interesting way with some characters feeling different than others about certain things, and then it was just completely lost because people wanted to draw Sans, but you know. And then Dusttale is just a very, very lazy and way worse version of Aftertale. It's just, look at this, look at Sans. He's evils now! So I think it's fair to put them about where they are. Also, I moved this guy down a little bit. He's not as good as these other three. And then finally, I can hand it back over to the other me to do these last two. I'm so sorry for the state of this video. Thank you guys for sticking with me. It genuinely means so much. I think together we've made a beautiful creation, and all of these columns will be filled in videos to come. No matter how many times the camera falls, no matter how many times I'm way too tall to fit in frame, no matter how many costume mishaps we have, no matter how many times the footage is deleted, I am determined to rank every single Undertale AU, no matter what. These last two. Endertale is fantastic, okay? Endertale really represents a lot of the best things about Undertale AUs. It's just a continuation of the pacifist ending with some conflicts with Chara, and it really nails all the characters. It's got one of my favorite depictions of Frisk. Okay, Undertale is really good. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Just be aware that it was unfortunately canceled. The creator's not working on it anymore, which is, whatever reason they have for doing that, I'm sure is understandable. Time, finally, for my favorite AU of all. The Growth Spurt AU. If you just, sent a nuke to my house because I mentioned an AU you might not have ever heard of or have only seen in passing, or maybe you have seen it and you're still mad at me, allow me to explain. What I want in an Undertale AU is very different than what most of the AUs bring you. I don't want some edgy Sans that's gonna kill everybody because that's so awesome. I don't want a random interconnected multiverse theory where Chara is trying to murder everybody and stop it all, because that's what Glitchtale is. Mafia tail fell off here.
Actually, funny story, it was literally stuck to my butt.
I don't care for something that is clearly meant to just be an AU. You could say my least favorite Undertale AUs are the Undertale AUs. What I instead like to see much more is the AUs that are continuations of the story. The only exception here is Underfell, because, okay, Underfell's fantastic. Nobody was denying that. But up here, mostly, it's just the new stories, or the continuations of the story past a neutral run, or a pacifist run. And of course, a genocide run. That sort of thing is so much more interesting to me. And that is what the Growth Spurt AU does so well. So basically, what I'm getting at is, I think this represents the best part of an Undertale AU. The characters. That's why these AUs were invented. We wanted to see more of the characters. They weren't invented because everyone was just dying to see Sans go insane and rip his friends limb from limb. Sans was an interesting character and we wanted to see more of him. They were designed because Asriel was an interesting character and we wanted to see more of him. The whole idea behind the best AUs is expanding on these characters in a new way. Not necessarily creating some bad self-insert fanfiction, which is what Glitchtale is. But I like to see expansions on the characters, new ideas, and in the next video, we're gonna be completely abandoning that, because in the next video, I'm looking at all the random AUs. The ones nobody watches. The ones like Tale. What the heck is Tale?